All right, guys, you're ready to talk about Twilight Zone, episode 32, season 1, as it appears on Netflix.
What up, G?
So this episode, I guess, has a moral and is kind of like the, what's that Christmas movie?
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I wasn't sure where to work in the Clarence, like part of this or whatever, yeah.
But almost for that exact reason, it just goes nowhere.
No, it doesn't really have,
it's like a fall flat episode.
It doesn't really, so, like, the only redeemable thing that I was like, that's cool, was when he's like, oh, no, you're not dead. They're dead. This is like their afterlife, and they're just going about their business, and we couldn't let them see you, because you're not really here yet, or whatever. And I was like, oh, what a way to flip it, or whatever.
I guess.
But that's not what the episode's about.
No,
it's just like an incidental detail.
Yeah, that's a throwaway line of a cool bit. But in general, the episode's kind of just boring. There's not a lot of stuff happening. I like the angle of what they did with, like, like either it's twins or some interesting cutting to make that like look through the thing. But it should have just had, like, there's a pane of glass, if you could detect between that thing, that there just shouldn't have been, because that pane of glass you can see his reflection in.
There was one
and then there's glass in the marquee window you can see his reflection in.
Fuck.
And then the jukebox you can see his reflection in. So he has a reflection.
Why are you looking for so many reflections?
It's
like you're trying to destroy the episode.
It's not that I'm looking for the reflection. It's just they're clearly there. And you didn't have to make him have no reflection. He's not a vampire.
No, there was one scene where...
And they are dead, and they have a reflection.
Yeah.
It should be that they have no reflection, and he does.
The rules about reflections are not clear, I will admit.
They're clear, they're just bad.
There was one scene where I didn't think there was glass. There might have been glass where, like, it's like the ticket checker girl was like a twin or whatever. That I noticed, because, like, at first I was like, there's nothing special going on here. And then I'm like, oh, wait, this is fucking old times where, like, they couldn't just do things or whatever. So there's probably some shenanigans happening here.
I think the guy was probably a twin, the girl was probably a twin, and they just looked through the thing and saw it again.
Because when the camera approaches the, like, mirror, you can tell by the way things are, like, moving that it doesn't look like a mirror. It looks like it's it looks like it's a window into, like, the other half of the set.
I don't know if they put a piece of glass there to try to get, like, a shine like it's a mirror or something, but
I didn't notice his reflection in that exact
when
scene.
he got close, it wasn't the, like, oh, here's my reflection right here. It was like this, like, small off to the bottom reflection.
There you go.
And I was like, all right, you've broke the illusion. You spent so much money making this awesome thing, but you didn't think to look for the reflection.
Destroy the whole episode.
But if that was the worst part of the episode,
you knocked it down.
You
chopped it down like a tree. You yelled timber, and the episode went careening down to
the bad part of the episode is just the lack of substance that it has. It's just this real flat episode where, like, it's like, okay, he's got this thing, but it all ends happily, and, like, it's not a real Twilight Zone thing.
There's no, like, and now he's stuck here forever because of the choices that he made. It's a weirdly happy ending, and I really hate shit where, like, we only have 20 minutes. All right, 2.5 minutes in, he's gonna say Gabriel like an angel, and then at the, towards the end, we're gonna be like, call me Gabe, and then we're gonna also say it's short for Gabriel. I thought it was like a Futurama like joke thing at that point. I'm like, what the fuck? Turns out it's man. The most dangerous animal. Man's an animal too. No, like, it's this hard, like, fuck.
Yeah, it could have been better.
Totally. I thought that the main guy's performance was good.
Yeah, he was fine.
Is he famous? Because I often don't recognize old famous people.
Not to say he's not. I'm not an expert of the time period.
You called out that, like, Mr. Professor Gilligan's Island Man was in an episode where I was like, I didn't recognize him at all. He could be shining my shoes, and I'd be like, fuck you. I had no idea who it was in, like, the slightest. And you're like, did you like the guy? I'm like, who? So I thought maybe it was going to happen again here.
And he might have been from something, but if you're not really from, like, Mayberry, Bonanza, Gilligan's Island,
if you're not from a select few shows, it's completely... That's fine. I don't have anybody like that at all that I would, like, recognize. Also, in general, because I thought his performance was good, I did kind of like the whole thing. Like, as a man who feels like he's talented, who has had some experience in, enthusiastically drinking, I was kind of like, oh, it kind of, like, cut me like a little bit. When he's doing the whole speech, when he's
then immediately he gets shattered by him
shattering a glass.
But that's just lazy. Why is his case open? Why is the bottle in there? The cases are like fit to size. He couldn't have had that in there and his
Your logic is just destroying everything about this episode.
It's just because he seems like he's a perfectly functioning alcoholic to some extent. He's trying to get a job, but he brings the alcohol. Just put it in your vest pocket or something.
No, like that part makes no sense, and it's something.
It was just because the show's only 20 minutes long,
like,
and
the
it needs
script,
to happen
and
quickly.
They have to make this overt like thing. Because imagine, like, they didn't even have the stage. It's just a fucking shadow of, like, a trumpet player. I'm not even sure if he's able to move that much, right? In like the window. So they couldn't have him go on on stage and then clearly be actually drunk or be sneaking drinking and then fucking up, working there for weeks, showing up late, fucking up his stuff, not knowing the song, thinking it's time for a solo, but it's not, so the band has to go around him, and he's like, we talked about this, and it's this whole arc, and then he finally does the whole thing.
Did you catch? And at first I thought it was a horrible mistake, and then I'm like, oh, I just might not know enough about the trumpet. When he first puts his mouth trumpet to it, but he puts his whole mouth over it.
He's fucking trying to eat it at one point,
and I was like, what is this? And then he did it again later, and I'm like, oh, maybe they did some research and they wet the whole tip or something before they start.
That was gonna be my thing.
That has to be.
I think they might have to wet it to get the seal right or something. But yeah, the first time I'm like, oh, he's so drunk he missed his mouth. He fucking deep throated this trumpet for no reason. Oh my god! And then you're like, okay, I guess that's the thing. I don't know shit about the trumpet, though. But I do know how the trumpet works, and he was just moving his hands because he's an actor. He was not playing that fucking trumpet at all. As far as I know. I don't know how the trumpet works. I know I just said I did, but I don't. I'm sorry.
Well, how much functionality does it really have? Isn't it only 3 buttons? What else can you do with your fingers?
I'm not even sure what those buttons are doing. They're not making all the different notes because there's not even enough combinations to make the notes. It's like your mouth making the notes. So those are valves to do something.
I think they're just reducing the amount of air that gets through.
They're changing it maybe to make the available notes. I have no idea. But he was doing it like it was a keyboard, like doing things or whatever. And I'm like, that's not the trumpet. It might be the trumpet. I don't know. But that's not the trumpet.
That part didn't jump out at me as horrible as the weird mouth thing did.
Yes, because that's a fucking weird thing no matter what you're doing.
Well, that's my thing where I'm like, either you obviously know nothing of it, or you're much more experienced than I am.
He's puts it in his ear. Is this no? Okay, this. And they're like, okay, he's doing a weird mouth thing, but just keep. That's the only good take we have. He's like, what? I put it in what? Yeah.
We find out he's actually a famous trumpet player.
Yeah, right. No, it didn't look like trumpet playing. It's so hard because you see so much fake playing in movies and shit that you're like you don't know
what
you
do
don't
they
even
call
know
that
anymore.
Trumpet in the military? What is that again?
Bugle.
A bugle, yeah. Yeah, it's a weird little instrument.
Yeah, well the bugle doesn't even have the valves. Maybe I don't fucking know.
Yeah, in my head, well the cartoons don't.
That's true. In the cartoons they don't.
But that also just might be easier to draw. So
that's true.
Who knows?
Too. I hate all instruments. We talked about how it ends. Okay, I liked how he says he's nothing, and then for a brief minute you think, oh, he became nothing, and now he's out of phase with oh no, it's a weird thing with the angel and
yeah. Just meets this girl.
Okay, yeah. So his happy ending is meeting a reasonably age-appropriate woman who's new to the city and doesn't know how lame he is. Is that his gift?
That's it
for the world. I guess that's all we can hope for in this life.
Pretty much.
God damn it!
You ever wonder how he paid his rent in general?
Always, I wonder all those things. I wonder how the friends from Friends
show us his apartment.
Yeah.
Well,
how is he living? If
Yeah.
And why did the guy really charge him? He had to because he made a whole fuck you, I'm paying you all $25.
Yeah, it seemed like he paid. I was under the impression that whenever you pawn something, you have X amount of days before it even goes up for sale because you have time to get it back.
Or he even did a whole thing with him where he was talking to him you're in here again, selling it, trying to sell it. This time I'm really selling it and all that stuff. Also, in these olden days, we never know how much anything costs. Or I'm like, $8. He could drink for months. Or it's $8. That's just he's gonna blow it all tonight. At the bar. Because
wasn't it $3 got you gas, food, your engine fixed, a tow, and I was like, wait a minute. And then they're selling a trumpet for $25. Wouldn't that buy a house? I
was gonna say because what's 25 then if a trumpet and he only got 8? That's a horrible markup.
I have no idea what anything works. It seems like the inflation or money value must have changed dramatically in the 50s or something.
Well, sometimes the Twilight Zone is set in previous times.
Exactly.
And sometimes I feel like they're just fucking around because whenever it's not used to make a point, I think we're just supposed to assume where it's $2. Holy shit! And I'm like, is that a lot? Is that not a lot?
Well, because earlier a guy just gave out dollars to get in line.
I know. Yeah.
So who knows? And a quarter was a milkshake, right?
Yeah, and then you'll hear the inheritance is $20,000. Or something.
They're billionaires.
Is that shit? What is that? I don't know. Houses are only $7,000 though. I know that for a fact.
Do you know that?
No, I don't know anything.
I thought the Sears and what was it, Sears and Roebuck, Warbuck, whatever, weren't those houses $700?
Oh, the delivery
the kid house, yeah.
Wasn't that like a tiny shitty house though?
No, those were most of the standard houses you see in middle America now, I believe.
I heard about some sort of cheap house that Sears would deliver or something like that, but I've never seen one. Never peed on it.
I'm fairly certain if you were like in Mawa, like A and B or whatever those roads, I think those were like that kind of house.
Like the Mickey Mouse houses.
The slightly bigger Mickey Mouse
where you can
houses.
play tic-tac-toe
not
on the board.
Not the houses that could be a trailer,
them.
but houses that were like, oh, that's a house.
I don't know. We'll Google it later.
Yeah. All right. That's kind of what this episode's falling out to. It was not much. We like disappointment, cruel, bitter, horrible, tragic episodes of Twilight Zone with nice twists and horrors and sci-fi.
Yeah, all these Black Mirror, Outer Limits, anything like this. Tales from the Crypt. Like, I like when a character like show me how human nature can drive someone to make decisions that then fuck them and like the most horrible way possible. Right? I traded everything one at a time, and then it turned out that was I wanted that all along. No, and I'll like teach me something. Don't just be like, hey, maybe if you're dying, don't instead, and then fucking buy your trumpet back, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know if that
everything will be okay.
Yeah. Just decide that it's okay, and it's okay.
All right, guys, don't die in a fire. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.